Hey scholars, today is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Scholars, in math, we have been taking a look at different charts. But before we take a look at today's chart, a pictograph, we have to take a step back and look at our tally marks. Here's a quick reminder of how we count our tally marks. Remember, when we only have one mark, that's one. If we have two marks, that's two. If we have 3 marks, that's 3, and 4 marks makes 4. Now here's that tricky part, but actually it helps us out. When we get to the number 5, we know we're going to cross it out. That helps us group it because we know that we can count by 5s. So we'll have 5 with 4 marks and 1 going across. Then we're just going to add on to it. So 5 and 1 more is 6. 5 and 2 more is 7. 5 and 3 more is 8. 5 and 4 more is, it's not 10. What's that? 5 and 4 more is 9. And then 2 groups of 5 is 10. All right, scholars, now that we know our tally marks, that's really going to help us be able to create a pictograph. Now, scholars, remember we've been talking about how charts help us gather data. And data is a fancy word for information. It helps us to be able to see in a picture information that we have. So let's take a look at some data that we have collected. Now, scholars, I've already told you that some of my favorite foods are pizza, spaghetti, and hot dogs. I'm adding hamburgers in today too. Now, let's say I wanted to ask other people, who else likes those foods? And I wanted to know which one their favorites were. Well, here's some data that I gathered from people that I polled or I asked, what's your favorite food? So we can see here that 5 people said pizza was their favorite food, 6 people said spaghetti, 3 people said hot dogs, and 4 people said hamburgers. Now, scholars, we've already been working on line plots where we've been putting X's or dots going up to show or represent our data. But today, what we're going to be working on is using a symbol to represent, or a picture, that's why it's called a pictograph, to represent those data points. So, scholars, now, if you are working on a tablet or something, you can use emojis. You can use, if you want to go into our symbols and use those, you could use stars or hearts. It's up to you. Your job, though, is going to be to find a picture or a symbol to represent these data points. I'm going to choose a star today. So I'm going to go over to my graph, and I'm going to go and add in these data points. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Well, I see that there's 5 people who voted for pizza. So I'm in each of these boxes, I'm going to put a star to show 5. Now spaghetti was 6, so I have to do 6. I'm going to draw my stars all the way up to number 6. Hot dog had 3 votes, so we'll draw in 3 stars going up. And hamburgers had 4. All right, scholars, we've made our pictograph, so we can see just by looking at the graph who liked what food the most. Well, let's see which one had the most votes. We can quickly see that spaghetti goes right up to the top of our chart. And what has the least? I see that hot dogs only had 3. So pictures can help us represent our data and show the information that we're looking for. Scholars, today, you're going to see a chart that uses tallies, and you're going to make a pictograph out of that data. Remember, you can choose emojis, you can use symbols, but it's called a pictograph because you're using pictures to show your data. All right, scholars, remember today in your problem of the day to read the problem very carefully because it could trick us. There's going to be 2 steps. And remember, we have to look for those keywords because you might be adding, you might be subtracting, you might be doing both. All right, scholars, have an awesome day of learning.